Hello again. Welcome back to Last Red or Last Red RPGs. This is Sean, and today we are going to continue looking at modules for Pathfinder 2nd Edition. Again, we are in Discord with a group of individuals who may or may not pop in. When they do, we'll hopefully get to chat with them. So, with that, we'll go ahead and hop into Foundry once it loads up. I do realize that yesterday, part 1, I forgot to turn on the volume for them. So we did not capture any of their voice. Hopefully today we will. So let's hop on in. So um, let's go ahead and let's see what we got going. I do know that there were a few settings in base Foundry for Pathfinder that I want to change. One of which is the pan to speaker and the chat bubbles. That's one. Or no, I don't want pan to speaker on. I hate when the camera gets pulled away to something else. And the chat bubbles, most people don't usually use the in-character chat from my experience. So left click to release that. I don't know why that's an option. It should just be automatically enabled, because otherwise you gotta drag and release to release objects, which is really awkward. Me personally, I do the FPS meter. Some of the photosensitivity, I leave that disabled. And one of my modules I have makes it so I can lock in certain modules for players. And so um, so anything to do with lighting, I definitely let the players decide, because I don't know if they have photosensitivity themselves or someone who's in the house that might walk by. Um, I normally don't have scenes that do that kind of stuff, but just for safety, I'd rather not cause problems. Um, Combat theme, I do like to have something on, usually epic. I do not like the animate roll tables. When I click a roll table, I want the result. Let me go ahead and pull up a roll table. Alright, let's import a roll table. I'm just going to import all of them. Yep, here we go. Roll tables. Lots of them. Oh, 78 roll tables. Please be patient. Okay, there we go. Um, First level consumables. Got to open it, and now we can roll it. Let's see here. It's still sort of animated. Oh, it is. That's the animated. Is the uh, shadow that you're seeing? That's it being animated. All right, let's go ahead and save changes and roll. Now we just get the result. There's no shadow. Now, another thing I hate with roll tables is when it says display roll to chat. As well, yeah, roll to chat. Now, something that I do like is the draw with replacement. That's a fun item to work with, because if you want an item to only show up once, you disable that. And let's see here. Now, this item, the Cheetah's Elixir, is locked. So that means it cannot be rolled again until you reset the table. Oh, I'm going to re-enable that. So that's that one. Alright, get back into settings. That's Core Foundry. Pathfinder has a lot of configurations that you can do, which is really nice in my opinion. So let's go ahead and Oh, interesting. Condition icon set full color. Let's drop a token down and see here. Conditions. They have full color conditions. Very nice. I like that. That is very nice to have colored conditions. I also like that up here at the top it says what the condition is. Let me zoom in so it's a little easier to see. So, clumsy, concealed, confused, drained. These are all very nice to have set up. The only one that's not really colored is dead, and that's just because it's a skull overlay. That's really nice. I like it. Um, I like that there's a option for a theater of the mind toggle. Includes additional toggles on actor sheets to facilitate theater of the mind play, enabling certain abilities without targeting. I want to see what this looks like because I would assume Great Axe, um, generate attack. Hmm. Okay, so I was hoping I would see some sort of attack roll with this, or some way to do an attack. But I'm not seeing anything. Okay. Because I'm used to you just click the image, and like it does right down here, it pulls up a um, check card. But like even if when I target themselves, they don't do an attack. Oh, okay. I see. You don't have to go to your inventory. On your main page under attacks, you click strike. Normal. Okay. Now, I wish there was a way to make it so it's quicker to roll. Oh. Okay, I'm seeing some things I do like. Actually, we're gonna do this. Invitation links. I'm gonna copy my link. I'm gonna open up the game as a guest or as a player, and we're gonna see down here in the player list. Right now we have my last Red King as the GM. Now we have Black 001 Bird as a player. I want to see something. I want to see what the player view looks like. And I'll pull that screen over here in a second. Okay. So what I'm looking at right now are the chat logs. Um, oh, wow. Okay. So there's a few things I want to do. All right. So I'm going to put these side by side. Player on the left, DM on the right. So what we've got is quite interesting. Um, Now, depending on modules, sometimes your players will see a tutorial. That can be helpful. But what I'm really interested in is the difference in the chat logs. So let me actually pop this one out and kind of put it so we can compare them side by side. So as you can see on the DM side over here, we can see what it was, the creature that used the item. And everywhere that it's mentioned, it's sanitized if it's in that little dotted box with the blue highlight, so that the players don't see that. Now, we can see some details, but we can't see all the details. So, that is a very cool automated thing that happens with Pathfinder 2nd Edition. With 5th Edition, you have to play around with modules to get that to work right, and it's a pain in the butt. So, this is a very nice start. I'm very happy with that. Alright, nope, we can say goodbye to the player view. I don't think we need it for anything else. Okay. Wow. Well, let's go ahead and keep going through this. That was. Oh wait, hold up. That's not why we went into the character sheets. Oh, that's cool. Okay. Now, did it automatically? It did not automatically apply. So then you'd have to still hit damage, half damage, double, block, heal. Block. That's a mechanic that I'm not familiar with. Just because, again, I'm coming over from 5th edition. And also, an armor class of 43 is just unhittable in 5th edition. The only way to do any damage to something with that much armor class is with critical hits. So, let's go ahead. I don't think we. Oh, wait, we were doing the theater, the mind stuff. I don't see theater. Well, hold up. Let's start. Stop targeting. Let's roll a strike. It's still going through. I wonder if it's only with player characters. So we're gonna pull out the party. Um, let's pull out the compendium. We were looking at spells, so let's pull spells out. And I don't know if it's going to be an equipment. I'm looking for weapons, but we'll take a look. Great. Let's drop in a greatsword. There we go. And let's drop in acid splash. Acid splash? Let's import it. Then add. Did we already added cleric? Um. Okay. So I think I'm gonna have to reach out to figure out why the spells aren't working. Because obviously everything else is working, where you just drag and drop, except for spells. Because we see here the greatsword dropped. Um, That rolls up. Just roll damage. Um, and you can see neither one of these is targeted. I wonder if it's just because I'm the DM. So I'm going to give ownership over to um, the player character here. And I'm going to open up the character sheet, open up actions, click on the great sword, and attack. Yeah, it's still coming through. So, don't know what's going on there. That's kind of disappointing. So, yeah, there's definitely something missing because like spells aren't coming through. So, all right. Um, yeah. Let's see here. Um, let's try a different spell. Just because it might be that spell. Um, no, it's just not importing correctly for some reason, or transferring over correctly. That's kind of disappointing. Huh. Okay. No. Um, so that's one thing to take note of. Take a closer look at the spells, see what might be going on there. Let's see here. Setting wise, alright, Pathfinder, campaign feats, that's not something I'm going to worry about. Um, and then we pretty much went through all these other settings real quickly yesterday. Alright. Oh, updated module. Alright. Alright. Let's get back into settings. Let's take some more looks. See what we got. Oh, we don't need it. Wow, chat portrait has a lot of things you can click on. But I don't think there's anything really I would do. Yeah, no, I'm just gonna leave those alone. Alright, cool. Alright, let's enable some more modules. This time I'm just gonna go a little quicker through these. Just because I've been using Foundry for quite some time, I know what I like, and the reason why I like it. So boss bar, if you have big bosses like that, um, Ararda, sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, um, come across this guy and its boss. Now you can make it so there's a boss bar, which will put a health bar underneath the navigation across the whole screen so that the party can have an estimate of where they're at. A bit metagamey, but it's really cool and kind of hypes up how important this encounter is, especially. Um, a lot of these things are maps that I've got. picked up. Maps and music. I'm going to enable better roll tables. I'll show you a little bit more about what that does with roll tables specifically. So like we'll take a quick look. Um, it's pretty straightforward as it is right now. It's a roll table. You got your name of the table, you got your description of the table, your formula. Usually it's 1D, whatever. And then draw replacement and display roll to chat. And then you have all your different results. That's going to change a little bit with better roll tables. Um, Compendium scene viewer. So if you imported some scenes, let's see if there's any scenes. Nope, there's no scenes. If you have some scenes in a compendium and you open up the folder, uh, it'll have an image of what the scene looks like. But if you click on the name, it pulls up a preview, and now it'll do the same with a scene. Whereas before, without this, it'll pull up the configuration settings for it, which doesn't really show you much. So I find that one very useful. Condition automation, that one I'm going to skip for now. Custom fonts. If you like to use the draw text, this can be good because you can import a lot of different texts. Right now it's really basic and bare, which is fine. But if you want to use those texts for a world map, for example, that custom fonts is going to be something you want to have. Map pack. Now, Dragon Flagon, they have a whole slew of things that you can add. Anything DF or defreds is theirs. Now, there were 2 dependencies that needed to be enabled. Alright, I'm going to break down some of these real quick. DF active lights. A lot of this has already been integrated into version 10, but there are still some other things that they can do, such as rotating lights. So like a lighthouse, for example, would be a perfect example of what that would be. DF architect, DF quality of life, settings clarity, just add basic enhancements to quality of life stuff. Chat enhancements makes things a little nicer in the chat cards. Curvy walls. Oh my goodness, that is so useful for setting up walls, especially if you have curved walls, because you can now do circles quite easily. Scene enhancements, it makes it so that there's more options available, but also it clarifies what some of the functions are. Template enhancements. That one, I think that one I'm not actually going to use because I want to see how templates work here before I enable that one. Now, chat pins, if you right click, oh, well, let's get something in the chat, I guess. All right, roll. Reminding me not to attack one of these guys. Holy cow. Alright. Chat pins, if you right click, you see how it has pop out message. It's kind of like that, except you can pin it. That way you can come back to it later. And there will be a little pin down here, like a thumbtack pin. And you don't have to keep this window open the whole time, because you can just go back to that pin. DF droppables. That one actually might fix our oh, okay, no. So droppables, it makes it so that you can drop folders onto the canvas. This is actually really useful for me, in my opinion, because I will have a folder, and I will name it PCs. Now, what I'll do is I'll put all my player characters into that folder. I'll drag it out, drop, and then they'll appear on the canvas. Effects panel. adds a panel of active effects for the selected token. I actually think that's already integrated with Pathfinder, because earlier when I gave them a condition, see, all these conditions are here on the right. I chose a very nasty one. Oh, dying. I was gonna say I chose a very nasty one, didn't I? Yep, I sure did. Okay. Randomly chose dying. Alright. Yep, that one's actually integrated nicely with Pathfinder 2nd Edition already, so that's not even a needed module anymore. Um, and then Pocket Change converts all your currency into the highest level. So, um, I know it was in numbers, values of 10, and so like if I had 10 copper, there was an option to or there would be an option to click, and well, we've got enough setting modules. I believe it. I know on 5th edition it was a scale, but let's hop into this character sheet once we load back in and take a look there. Okay. Now you will see sometimes is you get notifications about or warnings about modules. You can always hit F12 and you can see what you might have for those errors. Um, these are the ones we saw. Was better roll tables is unmaintained and may introduce stability issues to your game, um, as well as Handyford's Dice Addiction, which is a Dice So Nice edition, as well as Talus Dice. So you might come across those. Opening up that log is just as simple as pressing F12. Alright, I will say one thing I don't care for, and I'm pretty sure this is Foundry version 10, not Pathfinder, is when you open up your configure settings, you have to expand it to see everything, when it should automatically be adjusting to the scale. So, let's open up this character sheet. Let's see what it can do with currency inventory. I'm not seeing any change. All right, cool. Um, I don't, I don't think we need that module either. Less modules you have, I'm not going to say less is good, but having unnecessary modules is not good because that does contribute to slowing down your access to the game. So, drag anything to the hotbar. That has been integrated with version 10. So no need to integrate that. Drag ruler, I think there is a additional part you need to this, which would probably be drag ruler Pathfinder 2nd edition. But drag ruler is a dependency for that, anyways. So unless, yeah, no. Uh, Dramatic rolls kind of gives you kind of like the ambient doors does, sound effects when you roll natural 20, natural 1 on your d20 rolls. Drop my torch. That one I have not had success with, so I'm just going to leave that one disabled. Easy to target. All you have to do is hold Alt and click on the token you want to target. Otherwise, I mean, you just hover your mouse over and hit T. So really, knowing that I could do that, or I could just press T over a token, that works for me. If you hold Shift, you can do multiple targets by continuing holding Shift and pressing T. Alternatively, as a player, you can double right click, or if you're doing multiple, again, hold Shift. Enhanced terrain layer. That one will actually work really well with the drag roller, and the reason why is because it enables difficult terrain, and so If you got a section that's difficult terrain, it automatically lets the drag roller see, oh hey, I'm gonna have to move extra through this space. Um, Maps, faster audio preload if you're doing audio through Foundry, like what I do, um, then you'll want to have it there. Obviously, I can't do a playlist right. Oh, hey, I do still have Ivan's in here. Let's go ahead and get. Oh, which one was it? It was Peaceful. Let's get this music going. Um, I feel bad though because we're gonna be switching to or turning on modules, so it's gonna kick us out pretty quick, and it'll start over, and it's gonna just keep looping. Find the culprit. If we find that we enable so many modules that we don't know which one is causing us problems, this is going to be nice because it does what is called an isolation test, where it will start off with half the modules that you have enabled. It'll take split them into two groups. It'll turn half of them on, and or keep half on, turn the other half off, and it'll say, "Hey, is your problem resolved?" And you can test it out. Um, and if it's resolved, then it was in that batch that got turned off. So you say yes, and then it'll enable half of the ones that were turned off, and it will keep going until you eventually find the module that was the culprit. So it's a lot better doing it that way than doing it manually. Trust me, it sucks. Force client settings. I do like this one. This allows you to go in and force certain settings onto the players. The reason you would do that is like um, if you want certain things set up a specific way. So like if I have brand new players and I set up a HUD system for them, I want it to be in a way that is organized so I can help them, then I'm going to do the force client settings. Foreigns copy environments. This one is hit and miss. The reason why I say that is because um, if you have one world and that's all you use, you will not ever use this, ever. Now, actually, what I do recommend is go ahead and do get this. The reason why is it lets you copy all your save configuration or setting configurations. Now, the reason why that's important is because if you go from version 10 of Foundry to version 11 and you don't like version 11, you kind of really, well, that's not a really good example. I guess the better example would be, I don't know, with upgrading. Really, the main use for this is going from one world to another, having the same settings. That's what it's really used for. Um, at one point, I had like 4 D&D 5e worlds, and I wanted them all the same, consistent with how they were set up setting-wise for me. And so, with Foreign's copy environment, you get the JSON file and you just share it with the other 3 worlds. And there you go. It's a very universal. It's all very much the same. Now there are. Um, I'm actually surprised. I thought there. I know there's another module that allows you to also copy your modules and what's active and what's not. So we'll see if we find that one. Unidentified items. Actually, you don't need that with Pathfinder. I'll show you why. If you go into your item, and I saw that I thought I saw this, or maybe did I see it in here? I think I saw it in here on the. Oh well, if it doesn't have a weapon, that kind of makes it hard. All right, here we go. This has inventory. I saw that you could mystify the item, and now it's an unusual war flail, and All they know is it's a war flail, but they don't know what kind of war flail. Um, and it also hides the value of it. And so that's a very nice feature that's already baked into Foundry or for Pathfinder, so you don't need that one. Um, GM notes, that's a nice little one. It'll add a little token up here that looks like a clipboard where the GM can write secret notes. So, grid scaler, that's one of the ones I absolutely do not forget to enable when if I'm setting up maps, and I do a lot of maps. Um, you want to have this so you can easily line them up. Now, if you already know the dimensions because the artist is very kind and tells you, hey, this map is a 40 by 40 grid, well, now you have a pretty easy way to get it set up. But if you don't know that information, or if you don't know the scale of the squares or the hexes, it's very challenging. So this kind of fixes that. Health estimates. This is a nice one where uh, a player can hover their mouse over a token, ally or neutral or friendly, neutral, hostile, and it'll give you estimates on like 5 different scales, all the way from um, uninjured down to dead. Hide player UI. This really isn't one that is needed unless you're streaming, in my opinion. Um, and since I do live stream or live play streams, I use this on my camera view for my recordings. Hourglass. This is a fun one. It makes it so you can pull up a hourglass for timing, kind of put pressure on the group. Uh, the hurry up combat timer. This is a nice little one where if you're trying to keep the game moving and flowing, this is one you want. I usually set it so it's 2 minutes for each combatant each round. Um, so that way my players kind of hurry it up. And also myself when it comes to NPCs. Image hover, double-edged sword in my opinion. It basically allows you to hover over a token, or the players to hover over a token, and it will show a blown-up version of the image. Now, it can either show the token image or it can show the character art image because those can be due to two different images. Um, initiative double click. This allows you to double click the initiative and type in what change you need it to be. Again, music packs, spell effects, those are extras that aren't really needed. Um, animated art. Less fog and levels. So less fog, I don't really. Less fog depends on how you use the game. Um, if you have it so that every time. So with less fog, when you select a token, it'll dim to what they can see. So like if I threw. Oh, let's throw down a wall. Go in here. See, right now I can see everything even as the GM. Um, less fog would allow the vision that I'm currently experiencing. What I normally would get is everything behind this wall. Let's see here. Let's actually reset the fog of war. Yeah. Um, and it also actually might be the scene settings. No, global illumination's not enabled, so I don't know. Maybe their vision enabled. 60. Yeah, see, I don't know. Um, so Yeah, what I don't know what Lesser Fog would have provide to Pathfinder Second Edition. Levels, it makes it so you can do tiered maps on top of each other. I have not had success with it, so I can't really recommend it. Though I've played around with it a little bit. Active Effects Manager, if you're going to have something that automatically applies effects to tokens, this is a great one to have. Lock View, again, as someone who streams, this is one that I highly recommend with the minimal UI because you can have it set so that when you start up a scene, it automatically um, calibrates to the screen size, and so you see it in that way. Um, it it can make it so you can not move the screen around. It can make it so you can't zoom in and out. It locks in, hey, your view screen will start right here. Um, it's a good one. Um, Minimal user interface. I like this one as well because to me these tokens or these controls on the left are big and bulky, so I like to make them smaller. Um, Now Monks has quite a few different things. They're another great modder. Um, so I like the active tiles. So this one you can create tiles with yeah, tile control or yeah, primarily with tile control. You place down your tile, an actor, and then there's so many different things you can do with it. You can have it so if the player clicks on it, an actor walks on it. If the actor leaves the space, and they can trigger all sorts of things. So it's very useful, though it can be very challenging as well. So little details, player settings, scene navigation, token bar, wall enhancements. These are all just different quality of life things. The wall enhancements, especially if you're setting up your own scenes. Um, Ownership viewer, this is a very nice one because on the right here, next to your actors, your items, your journals, it'll tell you who has what permissions with it. Now, if they don't have permission, you won't see their little color box. If they do have permission, the different shapes will indicate what kind of permission. So, um, Patrol lets you have it so that tokens can move around doing certain things. I've seen people set it up so they have like an active tavern. Um, Not one I'm really familiar with, but that can be a very fun one. Pause customizer that enables you to change your little clock down here to something else. I like that. It's just a personal touch. Um, Polyglot makes it so that you can use different languages. Actually, let's see here. Alright, I don't see anything for polyglot already down here. You can notice that the token, everything down here is kind of changed. We still have our dice tray calculator. But instead of a drop-down menu for the what type of role, we now have little icons for public, private GM, blind GM, and self role. And then we have an archive, save, or normally it's a save, but because I'm on uh, the Forge, an online hosting service, it's export. And then we have chat pins. Chat pins will pop out and there you go. Potato or not, this one gives everyone an option when they first sign in. Um, First being after the module's been enabled, and it'll ask, "Hey, what is the quality of computer you have?" And it's got three different tiers from not good to average to supercomputer. Though they use potatoes instead, and I don't remember which potatoes they use. Um, but it automatically adjusts some of the settings for each player so that it's a more enjoyable encounter. Um, Obviously, we don't need anything that has 5e in it. Roll of Fate, I love this one because I can highlight multiple tokens and click on Roll of Fate. It'll appear down in here on the chat log, and it'll then roll a die and pop up with a card saying so and so has been chosen. And now, whatever I was rolling for, I know who I'm using. Um, Roll table from the sidebar and journal. This enables it so that instead of every time going into the roll table and clicking roll, I don't think I need that module. Because as you see here, I can quick roll. And there's the item. So, roll table from sidebar and journal is no longer needed. So, um, scene previewer, you can kind of get a glimpse of that right now, the scene we're on. But as you notice, like it doesn't have the Foundry virtual tabletop on here. Um, and when you hover over the navigation up here, that's when it'll give you a little preview with Scene Previewer. Because a lot of the times you're on the chat log or the encounter log, though really encounters, that's the chat. Encounters, I pop it out and set it over here. And then sequencer, if you're doing animated stuff, you'll use a sequencer. Settings extender, that one's going to help out with different settings. So, these are all the modules I would start with, personally. Just because to me, these are my bread and butter. These are what I'm familiar with and what I like using. Now, like I said with Forian's copy environment, I'm going to go into one of my worlds and I'm going to say, hey, environment that I'm comfortable and familiar with, you're coming with me. And I'm going to copy it, or I'm going to save the JSON file. I'm going to come back into Pathfinder. I'm going to import it, and it'll update all my settings to be just like what I have in my other worlds. And so that's a quick, dirty way to get everything uniform across however many game systems you, or how many game worlds you have. Now, here's a little note about Drag Ruler. You have the enhanced terrain layer module enabled. Alright, let's see here. Can I find that? Lock view, terrain layer. There we go. Draw a rectangle, ellipse, polygon, and a freehand. So if I wanted to say that all that was difficult terrain, double movement. Very nice. I can make it, now I draw one that's worth 3 times the movement. 4 times. Yep, 4 times. And, whoop, now it went funky. We'll undo that. We'll just 4 times. Now, I'm going to grab, see, now we've got this as well. Of their health condition. So they're near death. Alright, let's get them to their full health. Uninjured. Barely injured. Injured. Still injured. Okay. Badly injured. Next one I believe is greatly. Oh, still badly. Okay. Greatly injured? Nope. They skipped greatly injured. Oh, I think what I did with my settings is I got rid of this near death thing, and I changed it to greatly injured. Um, Really, I think what I would like to do is put a step into in between badly and near death and call it greatly injured. All right. So what I wanted to see. All right. So we see how much movement it's costing. Once we hit in here, we should see it double. Let's do this. Actually, I'm gonna do some configuration. I'm gonna change the grid. Right now we're gridless. I'm gonna change it to squares. Okay. So it's taken 1 unit. And it's still only taking 1 unit going through all this. So obviously it is not working correctly. Um, and so that's why you try it. Because if it's not going to work, it's not going to work. And so that's going to take some testing out to figure out, hey, why is this not working right? So um, let's see here. Um, as you can see, the controls on the side have gotten smaller. Um, Now this right here is normally for walls, and I need to actually go into some of these settings. When you enable um, Monk's wall configuration, they have something in here that um, changes the naming and the icons. And to me, they don't make more sense. So I always have to go in and disable that because I don't like them. Okay. Because right now, draw walls and it shows a person in a house. Terrain, it didn't change. But now the next ones, they don't make sense to me. Uh, Windows. Okay, these, yeah, they're typically used for windows, but they're also invisible walls. So, curtains, again, makes sense, but yeah, that actually does make sense. Uh, Doors and secret doors. The only one to me that doesn't make sense is windows, but also, I don't like these icons. Um, because, like, if you look at the window one, it almost looks like somebody's going out of a box. You can't go out of a box or out of a window. You'd have to break the window and then, but yeah. Oh, interesting. I do like the toggle between uh, regular and secret door. That one's actually really neat. I think I missed that one before. Um, but yeah, there's a lot of different things you can do. There we go. All right, so better roll tables. Okay, so I did say we were going to look at this one a little bit more. Um, let's go ahead and pull these up. So this better roll tables is the reason why we can have the rolls now. What's this? Oh, you can share. Oh, all right. So better rolls quick enables the quick rolls, and I gotta get going. But now we have a drop-down menu for the configuration of the type of roll table. Now there's new table types. We have a default table, a better table, a loot table, and a story table. Better table, we can put a formula in here. To me, this is perfect if you want random quantities. Um, so this is excellent for random encounters. Oh, you tell it, I want 1d4 elemental gems to appear. Now you've got, when this one comes up, it'll roll, not only are you going to roll the table, but it'll also roll 1d4 and it'll tell you how many elemental gems there are. So that is great for a treasure table. However, they also have a loot table. Let's take a look here. Again, same thing. Don't know why there's a difference. Oh, here we go. Currency loot. That way you can say, hey, I want X amount of gold and silver for this table regardless, and then whatever else was rolled up. And you can also say, I want to roll on this table however many times. Um, Now, it'll also create an actor uh, that this loot goes to. And then if you put the actor down on the scene, uh, I would just do a treasure chest icon and call it loot. As long as the players can interact and take from that actor sheet, you've essentially just created a treasure chest, treasure hoard, uh, quickly and easily grabbable. And then story table, it's very much like the basic one. Um, in fact, I'm not seeing any difference. So that's better rolls. This is a good one that's been coming through for a long time. This has been around since early 5th edition, or since early Foundry. Um, so it's nice. Here's those GM notes. Again, this is only something the GM can see, not the players. Permission viewer. Talked about that. So here's the party. If we look at, and all you have to do is you click on the colors, and now it tells you what everybody has. So all players have limited view of the party sheet. However, this player, Black001 Bird, has ownership of it. And that's why they're a circle where the group is a diamond. Now if I change limited to observer, we're going to see it change to a square. And then if it's none, it's gone. So that's how that works. So, alright. Well, I think that's what I've got for modules. I think what I'll do, not, I think tomorrow is Foundry night for me. Or, not Foundry, but Pathfinder night for me. So that means that I will probably be back in Pathfinder, and I will be looking at I'm going to be taking a closer look at character sheets, just because that is something that has been bugging me about why can I import certain things, why are certain things like spells not working. So we're going to take a closer look at Pathfinder character sheets tomorrow, see what we need to do there, and try to get something fixed out. Well, till tomorrow night. Have a good night. If you're, yep, yeah, that's all we got. So, bye now.